All right.
Woo! All right, peeps. Late start tonight. Technical difficulties. Gotta love it, right?
Hey,
Live broadcast is how it goes.
Better late than never.
Exactly.
And it is a live broadcast, and that is how things go. But, hey, we're here. Hopefully all of y'all will take you. Lucas, David, Mike Young, all you guys took a minute for us to get into you, but we're here. We're here.
Yeah, exactly. We're here at Christian's Tailgate Monday night, of course, right off of Bagby in Midtown. Enrique got this all set up. Thanks so much. And thanks so much to Sports with VYPE. We are a proud partner, and they are our production partner.
Yeah.
Jeff, how was your weekend? Busy weekend in sports.
It was a busy weekend in sports. I was under the weather a little bit Saturday and Sunday, so no Sunday boozing, which I usually do. But like, how do you do your Sundays? Like me, okay. So if it wasn't like this past weekend, and like and I don't have to do something with the kids, I'm 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning.
You're one of the degenerates. Okay.
In my garage. I mean, man cave. I mean, everything. I love it. Red zone, fantasy. I do fantasy football. I do DraftKings. I bet and watch the games, obviously.
Okay. All right.
So it's a whole
You have yourself a good old time on Sundays.
10 straight hours. So by 11 p.m. I'm good.
What are the kids doing while you're doing that?
Well, that's what I said earlier. If I don't have the kids, if I'm not doing something with them.
But if you do.
Ashley can watch them.
Cracked open a cold one.
No, like I trained them a long time ago. On Sundays, do not bother Dad. Like Cole's right there. He'll tell you on Sundays. Like they know. They're like, oh, well, we're leaving Dad alone.
Oh yeah, he's over there playing his Fortnite right now. My weekend was work all weekend. It was a lot of fun, but it's a pretty tired Monday because of so much going on. But I got to watch the Texans game, which was amazing. A little bit of the 49ers as well, and then some of the Cowboys too, because I was working the Astros game at AT&T Sportsnet. So I was like flipping back and through, trying to keep up with stats with Astros, kind of watch the games. Yep. And the Texans, man, looked good and were impressive, to say the least, in the first half.
Until Tyrod Taylor got hurt, obviously.
So unfortunate. Yes.
Again, I'm not a Texans fan. I live in the city of Houston, but I don't like the organization. I love the players, and I told y'all from the get-go, watch out for this team with a bunch of people that have nothing to prove and playing for contracts. Like they're not going to be an easy out, and it proved. Like Cleveland saw it, the Jaguars saw it in the first game. I told you this team could win 6-7 games this year. Exactly.
Nick Caserio did really good in the free agent market. They didn't have draft picks, but he went out there and he put a good team together. And I'm proud to say the least. We can get into that later on in the show. But Welcome in Sports with VYPE. Happy Monday night. And it looks like some guys on here. We see Who Dat Nation.
We're already doing Cowboys.
All right.
We're already doing Cowboys.
Did the Saints lose?
The Saints not
the
only
Panthers.
lost, they got their butts whooped.
The Cowboys did win on a 56-yard field goal. Anyway, sorry, guys. We'll get into those games in a little bit, too. Leading up to tonight's game, Lions at Packers. Jeff, shall we get into some scores around the league?
Yeah, let's do it. MLB Scoreboard brought to you by David Carrier over there at Smarter Mortgage. He's actually on right now. Call David when you're looking for refinancing or purchasing a home. The guy's got you covered. 281-650-0648. Mention SWB. Get a free quote ASAP. Like I said, refinancing and purchasing. David Carrier over there at Smarter Mortgage. He's the man. Right now, we've got a bunch of games going on. Tonight, later, we got Mariners at the A's, which – Astros fans, that'll help you out either way. So either one of those teams loses, you're in good shape. But I think you would want the A's to lose. But they've won.
Even though Mariners did win yesterday.
I think the A's have won 7 games in a row, or 6 or 7 game winning streak right now, and they've won 7 of the last 10. So have the Astros. But man, if the Astros went on a losing streak, the division would be a lot closer. Right now, the Astros are only up by 6 games, and it's coming down to the last 14 days of the season. We'll get into that in a little bit too. But Mariners at the A's tonight, Braves at the Diamondbacks, Cardinals at the Brewers. Right now, final already. The Royals have bested the Indians 7-2. Blue Jays and Rays tied up at 0 in the first. And then the second game of a doubleheader, the Royals and Indians are still tied at 0 after the first. Rangers, Yankees, same. Orioles, Phillies. The Orioles up 1-0 on the Phillies. Nationals up on the Marlins 3-0. Pirates and Reds tied at zeros, and the White Sox and Tigers all tied at zeros. And, of course, we've got the Astros at the Angels tonight. We were talking about a little bit about the Houston Astros and where they stand. 6 games up in the divisions, won 7 of the last 10, but so have the Oakland A's. Both teams are playing really good right now.
They are. They've had their bats hot, too, in the last couple of games. So happy to see that here in Houston. And once again, they wrapped up the home stretch yesterday. Like you said, they're out in L.A. facing the Angels. Hopefully, it's weird. Jose Altuve is out of the lineup tonight. Dusty Baker decided to take him out to give him a break before they go on to the last games of the season.
Dusty Baker.
Golly, he's a big talk.
Man.
He's a big talk. Is he why the Astros lose when they do lose?
He is definitely responsible, like personally responsible for 6 to 8 losses this year. Probably. And that's a lot. That's a lot of games. And
okay, pulling guys too early off the mound.
And not knowing his pitchers. The very beginning of the season, he didn't know who he had in the bullpen, and he was just putting random people in. His managerial decisions and changing the lineup constantly. Like, stick with a lineup. Like, I don't understand this. Brantley's hitting first. Brantley's hitting third. Brantley's hitting sixth.
That's an interesting point.
Drives me crazy.
That's an interesting point, too, because Dusty is old school. He's old school, right? He's old literally himself, but he does things like old school by the book. So it's weird to hear, like, this guy has changed the lineup so much.
So I don't think the Astros have ever had this many lineup changes, ever. And I understand resting the players and what they were doing. But, man, it just seems like there's a new leadoff hitter every single game, and it's like he hasn't figured out the rotation still on the relief pitchers. Like, you know who you have coming in the 7th, you know who you have coming in the 8th, and you know who you have coming in the 9th. Now, if something happens before then where your starters get a little jiggled, then you can bring in some other pitchers. But, like, he just randomly picks pitchers out of the bullpen. Maybe he'll do good this time. Like, stick to a program. Stick to something that works, and
Brent Strom, that's where you come in.
He's the only person that bothers me during the playoffs coming up. Like, the Astros players, I think, are all great. I think their offense is incredible. We have the best average. Even our ERA is top 5 in the whole league.
I thought about you, Enrique, yesterday because Jose Siri stepped in for Kyle Tucker when he went out. And boom, right away, hit a bomb. I think was it a 2-run?
That was a 2-run.
2-run shot. Yeah. And so I thought about you, but I just had to bring that up because you were giving him praise last show, I believe it was.
Yeah, I'm still giving him praise to this day.
Siri looks good, and so does McCormick. McCormick came in after that and hit the
exactly back to back, back to back.
So the Astros, like I said, I think they're players are all capable of going really deep in this, and especially in the American League. I mean, I hate to say it, but the American League's weak right now. Like, they really are.
Tampa Bay is great.
Tampa Bay is the only – I mean, it looks to be us and Tampa Bay in the American League Championship Series again, which is fine. We made it to the ALCS. I'm fine.
I think it'd be a great matchup.
But the National League has some – I mean, they're stacked.
They are We'll talk about it.
So we'll get into that in a little bit. But
man. Okay, good MLB talk because that's probably all you're going to hear today. All right. Yeah, that's right. We got the pigskin thrown around later tonight. So let's get into some football, and we'll go into some football with some high school sports with our high school spotlight brought to you by VYPE Media. And our athlete of the week, we'll say this week.
He's screaming over
Your
there.
son is into Fortnite.
Yeah,
he is
jamming.
into it here at Christian Tailgate. I'm here for it.
But look, Christian's Tailgate, this is family. Like, I mean, their food up here is absolutely phenomenal. This isn't just like a bar. Like, it's actually people bring their kids up here all the time. The food's phenomenal up here, so get up here and eat. Hey,
George, what's going on? Let's get into our
Harsh.
high school spotlight brought to you by VYPE Media. Once again, our athlete of the week is spring high school quarterback Bishop Davenport because he had 7 touchdowns against Tomball Memorial. The big win was 69-21. I don't know the exact yards. I know.
I'm like, is that a real high school?
No.
Did he really have 7 touchdowns?
Right. But he did. Impressive to say the least. This guy is already a Utah commit, so that's where he'll be going once he graduates high school. And, yeah. All right, let's get into What's Hot, presented by Joe Applewhite Realty. Everything he touches turns to sold. Give him a call at 713-291-5270. Helping, if you're in the market to buy a house, help you look for one, sell your home. He'll do that too and fix it up as well. Whatever you need in this realty necessities. Once again, that is Joe Applewhite Realty.
Did you get your place yet? Are you moving?
I didn't know what you were talking about. I thought we were like placing like my first topic I have are like injuries and quarterbacks,
your house,
and I'm like
are you
placing on.
Are you staying where you are? Did you decide if you're staying where you're at or getting a new place?
Oh, I'm going.
You're leaving. Screw 'em.
Yeah.
All right, good. Bye.
Yeah.
Lauren's got a new place coming up.
I just don't have it figured out yet.
Party! No,
I don't have it figured out yet.
High school spotlight. We'll have a little keg party with the red Solo cups, kegs. And
Red Solo cup. I lift you up. All right. No. Yeah. I got to figure that out. But I still got a couple months. Okay. Let's get into some of these injuries because they were a freaking big talk after yesterday's game.
Huge.
Oh, my goodness. And big at the quarterback position. So we have Carson Wentz, injury on both ankles. Tua Tagovailoa left, and now he's got an injured rib. And then Andy Dalton exited the game with a knee injury, which I don't think too many people were like mad about because it's Andy Dalton. Tyrod Taylor, we mentioned earlier with the Texans. You can go get him if you need. Yeah, Jeff's on dad duties right now. But we'll go into some of the injuries that took place, like I said, yesterday, over the weekend. A lot of injuries from quarterbacks. And, you know, these are the guys, the leaders of the team. I will say for the Bears, what I just mentioned about Andy Dalton exiting with a knee injury, I don't think too many people would be upset about that, so that Justin Fields can come in and do his thing. And then on the other side of the ball, T.J. Watt has a groin injury. Brandon Graham has a torn Achilles with the Eagles. We have Taylor Lewan injured warm-ups with the Titans. He's the left tackle of the Titans, which could be very, very bad for them.
Did you mention Bradley Chubb yet?
I have not.
Okay.
You can get into that if you want.
Yeah, I mean, how many more you got? Like, there's
I mean, and speaking of Houston, I mean, unfortunately, the Texans were dropping like flies, one after the other after the other. I mean, once you heard about Tyrod Taylor, then you had Justin Reed, and you know he goes down. Nico Collins, wide receiver, he's having shoulder injuries. He may miss 3 to 4 weeks, and it's just
it seemed yesterday.
It's unfortunate. It's week 2.
I was on
week 2.
Facebook, obviously, during the games and whatnot, but it seemed yesterday every 3 or 4 minutes there was a massive player, like a major player, and each team just dropping. You mentioned Carson Wentz, T.J. Watt. The 49ers got hit again. Hasty, Mitchell, Sermon, all down. Sermon out with concussion, Mitchell out with shoulder, and Hasty out with an ankle. They're trying out running backs that, I mean, I don't know what they're still winning, don't get me wrong, but, man, they've got a problem at running back position. Tua Tagovailoa, let's talk about this.
Okay.
We've discussed this before. Small, injury-prone, and was not the captain of their team. This is bad for them. Tua is – I don't know how he's going to come back from. Like, he's just had a really rough start to his NFL career, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better for them. I forgot who they play next week. It's an easy game. Whoever's playing the Miami Dolphins, I want to say it's not Pittsburgh. It's I forget. But Darrell Henderson also got hurt. You mentioned Andy Dalton. That's another very, very interesting situation because Justin Fields came in and only threw for 60 yards and a pick, and he didn't look. You know, I think that Chicago fans were thinking he's going to come in and be the savior of this game. People were probably excited that Andy Dalton got hurt.
Yeah.
And then Justin Fields came in and did not impress at all. So there's a lot of NFL talk, and these injuries this week were huge. I think none bigger than the T.J. Watt injury. For the Steelers. They're dependent on their defense. They have no running game, so their offense is stagnant. But their defense,
which they did lose yesterday,
and their defense was phenomenal. With T.J. Watt, he's impressed the first week, and then he impressed yesterday until he got hurt. That's going to be huge, depending on and a groin injury. The reason I say it's big because groin injuries are really tough to come back from. We saw it with Bregman earlier this year.
Well, it's the fact that they hang around so long.
Yeah, they're lingering.
They linger and they take a while to fully get well. And I'm looking at Dolphins right now. Their backup is Jacoby Brissett. I forgot about that name. Yeah. So I guess that's who's going to be coming in.
And he's not bad.
Look. I'm thinking about this. This quarterback drops. This quarterback drops. This quarterback drops. You got to think. Cam Newton is there. Like,
what is it? I'm sure everybody on Facebook is going to love this. How you say it?
Oh, my gosh. He's super excited to come back. And he's super excited to come back. And
is he?
He wants to be out there. Hello. He said there's no other 32 quarterbacks that are better than me.
Well, now there definitely is, and I think
there definitely is. That wasn't a correct statement, but that's what came from his lips.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that somebody is calling Cam at this point, and Cam probably has, I bet 3 or 4 teams, and we mentioned this when he, told everybody to shove it, that this would happen. We knew this was going to come down. I didn't think it'd be week 2, but he's probably got 3 or 4 teams that he could go to now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. And there's been like a lot of like, oh, Deshaun Watson, he's going to go to whoever gets hurt. He's going to Dolphins, He's going to go to Chicago. No, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, legal charges are still legal charges, and they're still there.
Yeah, he's
Speaking
not.
of other quarterbacks, Derek Carr is having an MRI.
Yeah.
He's questionable for this week on his ankle. So that's weird because the Raiders are 2-0. And did you think the Raiders were going to start the season like this?
Yes, I did. I said before, and I'll say it again. I think I found my team.
Really?
I think I'm a Las Vegas Raiders fan.
Sounds like you're a bandwagon to me.
What? I said Derek Carr's awesome. Josh Jacobs.
If they were losing right now, you would not be a Las Vegas Raiders.
And they didn't have Josh Jacobs. They're starting running back, and they still want that team. I might put a bet on them to win the Super Bowl.
Oh.
I mean, aside from Tom Brady, which we'll get into that because, wow, Tampa Bay. That's
okay,
a scary
your defense.
That's
like,
a
you're supposed to be the best
team.
in the league. Supposed to be the best in the league. But
they scored 2 defensive touchdowns yesterday, back to back.
Yeah, did you see how many points they gave up to Atlanta?
Who
25?
cares? Brady's throwing, I think, 7 touchdowns in the first
8.
2 games?
8, yeah.
8 touchdowns in 2.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Holy crap.
But you got to make some stops.
Well.
Against the freaking Falcons.
But, y'all, don't be surprised if I start wearing a Raiders jersey. I'm serious. I might be a Las Vegas Raiders fan here pretty soon.
All right, and last injury we'll talk about is Jarvis Landry with the Browns. He injured his, I believe, I can't remember what half it was, but, yeah, sprained MCL for the Browns yesterday against the Texans.
Man, that whole game was just marred with injuries.
I know.
You didn't have Odell to start with. He should be back next week, but now you have Jarvis Landry out, who's a huge threat for for Baker Mayfield. So we'll see what happens with Cleveland. That game, the whole NFL yesterday was just, and there's a few offensive linemen and defensive linemen we didn't talk about that went down with major injuries. So big shakeup, and that's why these guys stay fit during the offseason. This is exactly why. I mean, offensive linemen that did not make the team, you still got to stay fit and in shape because things like this happen. And, here we go with all these injuries. And hopefully next week is not like this because this week was – I don't remember one being this bad. There was a ton. There was
I know.
A lot.
Only week 2. And I just fast forward to think about, like, week 17, that extra game. And I've been the person saying, oh, it's just an extra game. Like, why are people worried about health and safety? Like, it's just one more game. But – weeks like we had this week definitely project and can land.
It goes back
on that
to
week.
It goes back to the players not not wanting that extra preseason game, and it's like these guys. You're not in shape. You don't get all that practice.
Hey, it's for more money.
Wow,
it's for more money.
Dude, like this is what happens when these guys don't practice that much and they get in the game situations, and then boom, here goes hamstrings, here goes groins, and here goes ACLs and MCLs.
All right, let's get into our next What's Hot presented by Joe Applewhite Realty. And that is, we mentioned a little bit earlier, the MLB season the regular season is wrapping up. 14 days left, 2 weeks to go. And we want to look at some of the division leaders and who is leading the leagues right now. So as far as the division, we mentioned Tampa Bay with 92 and 58. White Sox are in the AL Central, 85-64. And then Houston Astros, 88 and 61 is the record. We go down to the National League, and like you said, they're a bit dangerous. We look at the East, and the Braves, 77-70. Milwaukee, NL Central, 91-58. And the Giants, 97-53. So they've already surpassed that 96-game winning, and it's going to be very interesting.
Fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. The National League, look, you've got the Giants, the Dodgers, the Brewers, and the Braves are basically already in the playoffs. Like they're already the Giants and Dodgers have already clinched, so they're already in.
And Milwaukee.
Yeah, well, yes, Milwaukee clinched as well. the American League, it gets a little dicey, especially in the wild card race. You've got Boston at +1, then you got Toronto. The Boston Red Sox and Toronto Blue Jays are the two that get in right now. Right behind them, Yankees game and a half back. The Oakland Athletics are 2 games back, and then Seattle's who's 4 games back. And those are your only. But remember, you have a play-in game. That's going to be very interesting. I love this wild card, the way the MLB did this. You could potentially have the Yankees and Boston in a one-game playoff. That would be fun. That would be fun to watch. But the American League, I think the only real threat to make it to the American League Championship Series is Tampa Bay and the Astros. The White Sox are really good. Don't get me wrong. The White Sox are great. I just think the Astros and the Rays have way too much offense. Mm-hmm. And, it's going to be the Tampa Bay Rays and the Houston Astros in the American League Championship Series. Mm-hmm. That's my guess. And if I was to guess the National League, man, the Giants and Dodgers look unbeatable. Like, whoever the American League faces, it's going to be one of those 2 teams in the World Series. And, man, that's going to be rough.
It's just weird because all of the teams that have clinched, or 3 out of the 4, or just 3 of them rather, at the top, they're all in the 90 win column. And then Houston is right underneath at 88, sitting in, number 5 in MLB. And
yeah, but if you look at run differential, we're at +200, and only one other team has that, and that's the Dodgers. The Astros, we realize that the Astros are going to have to score probably 5 to 6 runs a game in order to win in the playoffs, because their pitching isn't phenomenal. It's great. If you starting ERA is top 5 in the whole league, the problem is when you pull those starters, we have major, major problems. And again, I'll go into it like we said at the top of the show. It's Dusty Baker not knowing who to put in at the right situation.
I think it's also dicey with Lance McCullers. A lot of people, are high on Lance, and yes, I get that. But at the same time, sometimes he's just not as reliable as we want him to be. And Zach Greinke as well.
Yeah,
so
I hope playoff Greinke comes out.
Yeah.
But
he's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
He's been in the league since '04.
We just don't have a number 1 ace, and that bothers me about the Astros. If you want to, McCullers is our ace, right? That's probably what you would say.
And
he's a number 2, I think.
Yeah.
He's a great number 2, but he's not an ace to lead it's a group effort. And right now, I don't know if Dusty Baker knows how to push those buttons the correct way.
Fromber, go get that piece of lead out of your finger, and let's see some heat.
I do think the Astros will make it to the American League Championship Series, and that's going to be fun.
ALCS, baby.
We're spoiled here in Houston with the last 5 years with the Astros and how great – well, actually the past 6 years and how great they've been and getting to the playoffs and the World Series appearances and the ALCS appearances. It's been amazing, and that's what we expect. But this team's a little different. It's managed different by Dusty, and I think that – I hope that doesn't come into play, but I just see Dusty making – on Game 5 in a series, Dusty making a stupid decision about the pitchers, and then here we go.
Hey, hopefully it doesn't happen. No bad juju. All right, let's move on to our next What's
back
On.
To Raiders spoon.
Hey, we're looking at it right now. We're counting down to it. No, it's not the Raiders. The Lions at the Packers.
Yes.
Kickoff here at 7:15. Of course, Eastern is 8:15. But, man, this is a bounce back for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Laying an egg. No, it has to be. It has to be. Putting only 3 points up on the Saints. It was an away game for them, so this is their home opener, and it doesn't look too filled as I thought it would be. But it's still early. However, I think the people to look for in this game are, of course, Aaron Rodgers on the Packers side of the ball, but the Lions, they actually put up some numbers. We were talking about they actually looked pretty good against the 49ers.
Well, the 49ers, they were blowing them out. The Lions scored 23 points in the last quarter to make that game even close. I think to send it to overtime. But Jared Goff looked terrible the first 3 quarters of that game. He looked absolutely terrible. But hopefully they got the legs under him. Let's not overinflate this week 1 thing by Aaron Rodgers, right? He dominates the Lions. I think he's 9-2 with something like 40 touchdown passes against the Lions. It's something ridiculous, and especially at Lambeau Field. So I expect Green Bay to come out ferocious on this game.
Are we going to see any in Jordan Love?
No.
It happened in game 1?
Well, that's because they were getting blown out and they mailed it in. I really do. This game is Green Bay minus 11.5, and I'm tempted to take that.
That's big.
And the over-unders this past week, The NFL is high flying now. Like, I mean, it reminds me of the NBA.
Well,
like,
there's
just no defense.
I was surprised at, the Texans, and I keep going back to it, but the Texans-Browns game, it was like 12.5 Browns. And I was like, wow, they have them winning by that. I mean, it was 31-21. But getting back to tonight, yeah, the Lions, but they did put up 33 points last week. Jared Goff did have 338 passing yards with 3 touchdowns. And then their weapon, I was going to say, to look out for is their tight end and T.J. Hawkinson. So minus last week, though, the Packers last year, they were very efficient on offense. They had 7.5 net yards per pass attempt. I expect them to do it again, but we got to see the same Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I think, look, he showed up late to camp, right? He didn't play any of the preseason. So this was his preseason game. I think Aaron, they practiced all week. He probably got the timing down.
Can the Lions be a threat today?
No, I don't think so. I think Aaron Rodgers comes out firing. I'd be surprised. I wonder what the touchdown is. I have to look at the prop bets, but I bet it's 2.5 to 3 touchdowns. I bet he throws 4 touchdowns. I got Aaron Rodgers going ham today. Looks like the weather's fine. What, you like going ham?
Weather.
He's always about the weather.
Weather
He's
looks good.
always about the weather.
Let's go Green Bay.
All right, Kevin Anthony said that Ravens-Chiefs game last night. I know, seriously. I loved looking at Harbaugh, and, it's been the talk, of course. Hey, Lamar, should we go for it? Okay, let's go. Going for it on 4th and 1. Possibility of, an interception. Anything could happen with the Chiefs, and then they go down and score. So that was so much fun to watch at the end of it.
Yeah, it was a great game. People fail to realize that the Chiefs are playing with an entirely new offensive line, 5 new guys at new positions. So it's going to take them a while to get over. I just wouldn't read too much into this about Baltimore. They still have no running back. Their defense is obviously suspect. These are rivals, interdivisional rivals, so these games are always going to be kind of close. They had the game at minus 3.5 for Kansas City to start with, which everybody thought was low. These are division rivalries, and they're going to be like this. If you go back and look at the other games, there's only one blowout by Kansas City with the Baltimore game. But I'm not shocked by this. Everybody's giving Lamar Jackson praise, and I thought he played terrible. I did. I just thought he didn't. I didn't think he played good at all. He was overthrowing guys left and right, threw 2 picks early. The thing that saves Lamar Jackson is his legs, and it's
always been.
It's just like Mike Vick, and he's exciting and he's fun to watch. But guess what? That only gets you to a certain spot. He just won his first playoff game last year.
Yeah. So last night Lamar Jackson had 239 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
That's terrible.
Like you mentioned, not impressive.
No, it's his legs.
It got him the win.
It's his legs, and he's flashy. I don't think that we should look at. I don't know which worse.
Nathan Small, Kevin Anthony, Aaron Rodgers throws 5 touchdowns tonight, and then Nathan says getting 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. You never know. You never know what's going to happen.
I'm saying he's got 4 touchdowns tonight, and that's they're showing Matt LaFleur right there. He's 26-7 as Packers head coach. Now is that as much him, or is that as much him and Aaron Rodgers? If Rodgers has a subpar game, let's say his quarterback rating.
Jordan Love's suited up.
Let's say his quarterback rating's in the 80s tonight. You're going to hear a lot of cries out of Green Bay fans, like, uh-oh, like what's going on? Tonight's a very interesting game. Very, very interesting game. And I can't wait to watch it. We're going to lead you guys right up to the show. We started a little late, so we'll keep it going a little late for y'all. But, look, it's Monday Night Football. It's Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau Field, and there's drama.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm loving it. like McDonald's, I'm loving it.
And speaking about drama, Aaron Rodgers, after last week's performance, I discussed this on one of the shows that it only proved his point that he does not need to be part of the administration decisions that he's been crying about all offseason. He only proved the point to the front office saying that he doesn't need to be there. All right. Anyways, that's just a little bit of hate on Aaron Rodgers.
Kevin Anthony and his Go Cowboys. Dude, stop, man.
They won.
No. Yeah, they won. Dak Prescott was terrible.
Barely.
And Dak Prescott didn't even throw or run. Like, he was terrible.
Yeah. W.
Terrible.
It's a W, guys.
I hate the Cowboys. I hate
Okay.
'em.
Hold on.
What's up? What's up?
Did the Cowboys win this game or did the Chargers lose this game? Because I'm looking at it, the Chargers they had 12 penalties for over 100 yards. The field was yellow. It was ridiculous with the Chargers. So I don't think. Way to go, Cowboys. Way to go. That was impressive. Way to go.
On the road?
Nah. I'm not giving them any.
Haters.
I'm not giving the Cowboys any credit for that win. Dak Prescott was terrible. Their defense was terrible. There was penalties everywhere. Of all the games that I watched yesterday, that was probably the ugliest.
Look, Herbert had 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. He was 31 of 41, so his completion percentage was 75. Not bad, but I don't know. Cowboys pulled it out.
Yeah, I told you that Zeke Elliott needed to perform, and he did. Tony Pollard looked great in that game. He scored a touchdown, but I think the progression of the Cowboys and their future depends on Zeke Elliott and not. I don't think it depends on Dak.
CeeDee Lamb was great. He had 8 catches. He got all of the targets. He caught all of the targets that were thrown to him.
Yeah, I love CeeDee Lamb, and it's just without the run game, they're not. Dak Prescott doesn't need to be throwing the ball 45, 50 times. That's not the Cowboys' go-to. They got a great offensive line. Get Zeke running, then you go off the play action. But yesterday they were all over the place. They tried to keep running the ball, which is great. I think Zeke, I forgot what Zeke had. Tony Pollard had 13 carries for 109 yards and a touchdown. Zeke had almost 100 yards, I think. But running the ball was the key to the Cowboys. The Cowboys scored 14 points in the first quarter and didn't score again until the fourth.
Well.
So go Cowboys.
All right, well, let's dive more into yesterday's game in our NFL talk, brought to you by Hybrid Technologies Group. When it comes to reliability, they're the ones that you need. Call Roy Stanton at 832-336-1201. He will hook you up with phone, cable services, surveillance cameras, and cloud services. Once again, that is Hybrid Technologies Group. So, yeah, recapping more of yesterday's games. Overall, I think Week 2 scores in general looks more accurate than Week 1 did.
Yes.
Week 1, there was so much surprise upsets, if you want to even call them upsets in Week 1, but just a lot of surprising scores and wins.
Yep.
Yesterday, it looked more like, okay, this team was supposed to win, this team was supposed to win.
7 games yesterday by a field goal or less.
Now,
Whoa.
Okay, let's get into this one. Like we mentioned earlier, Raiders and Steelers. So, the true sleeper team, or no?
Which one?
Raiders.
The Raiders? No, I don't think they're a sleeper team. I think Carr has been great for years now. It's just I don't know if it was their defense, and I don't know. Gruden's an old school coach, right? He likes to ground and pound the ball, and Josh Jacobs is a great running back. But, man, Carr's arm is phenomenal, and he's starting to throw the ball, and Ruggs is starting to get open. That's when you get somebody like a Will Fuller or Ruggs or Tyreek Hill for Kansas City.
Will Fuller injured.
Well, no, he said personal reasons he didn't play.
Was it personal
Yeah, it
reasons?
was
Personal
personal.
reasons.
Yeah.
Weird. But when you get somebody that can open up the field like that, it does wonders for your offense. And you got Darren Waller for the Las Vegas Raiders that probably him and Kelsey and what's the name for San Francisco? Just had a brain.
Jimmy?
No, the tight end over there.
Kittle,
yeah, him, Kelsey, and Kittle.
George Kittle.
Top 3 tight ends in the league. So when you can open up the field like that with Ruggs, and then you got Darren Waller coming across the middle or just running little routes, and then you got Josh Jacobs behind you, you are a threat. You can win any game as long as you stay healthy. Now, Derek Carr did get a little injured yesterday. He seems to be fine. But, yeah, Oakland Raiders are my team right now. I'm on board.
All right. Another questionable one, and you keep saying, oh, well, the Packers just weren't what they were last week when the Saints destroyed them. Well, now the Saints took the loss against the Panthers after coming out strong once again. That was a surprise to me against the Panthers is Sam Darnold, really this revamped new quarterback.
Man, we talked about him a couple of weeks ago, whether or not, him moving on from the Jets, if he was going to be worth it.
I feel like he's still not a big talk.
26 to 38, 305, and 2 TDs. That dude, you keep that up, and you got Christian McCaffrey behind you that can maintain the game for you. Oh man, Carolina could win some football games. The more shocker on this was the Saints, I think. Now, granted, they were missing 8 coaches, right, because of their COVID and close contact. Like, y'all got to get over this crap, man, for real. I was sick in bed this week, and I'm here doing the damn show. Y'all get up and go to work. Like, can't stand it. Like, you made a hit contact with him. Like, stop. Go to work. But now, I don't know. how much because Sean Payton is he's an offensive play caller regardless. So I don't know how much this played into them losing that bad. If their coaches not being around just messed them up. But you talk about two polar opposite teams. Week 1 and Week 2 Saints. You know where are you at? Like what team are you?
It's hard to read you right now. Very hard to read you right now. The Panthers come to Houston territory this Thursday, so it's going to be a short week for the Panthers and the Texans.
Take the Panthers. David Mills is not beating Christian McCaffrey and Sam Darnold.
We'll see.
What do you think the opening line is? Is it already up? Let's see. Hold on. I gotta check this out.
Thursday night's game.
Let me check this out, man. I want to see. Yeah, it's got to be up. So let's go to
all right. Okay.
Let's go to Week 3 Thursday night. It's only 7.5. I'm betting tonight. Call in my bookie when we get done. In fact, if you're watching, I can't say his name. I want some.
What?
I'm taking Carolina minus the 7.5. David Mills is not beat. David Mills is not. Davis. See? There you go. I don't even know the guy's full name.
That's your problem, not his.
Davis,
all right.
Davis Mills is not beating the Carolina Panthers and Christian McCaffrey. It's not happening.
Okay.
Although
we'll see.
I'm excited for the city of Houston. Thursday night football finally, back here. I think it was 3 years ago they had a primetime game. So this will be fun for the city going to tailgate and everything, but I wouldn't expect a whole bunch. Now, again, the Texans are going to play tough like they are. They do. I don't know if they'll last. Like the first half should be interesting, but I think after that is, they'll wear them down. That's my go-to.
We'll see. I don't know.
David said
we'll wait for all the
15.
actives.
Yeah, the line should be 15 points.
No,
sure.
It was 13.5 for the Browns. I mean, looky there. But once again, we have all these injuries, so
yeah, exactly.
Just keep all of that in mind. Falcons versus the Bucks this weekend, and we talked about it off the top. Obviously, Bucks took the win, but the Falcons put up 25 points. That was a bounce back from 6 in Week 1. So they're still
0-2.
Okay, but it's showing that they can actually score. And that the Bucs secondary needs to pick up things a little bit. It's not to say like, oh, should we get worried in Tampa Bay? But the fact that they allowed Atlanta that should be some concerns in the backfield.
Yeah, Atlanta, look, it gets a lot easier for them the next few games. They're at the Giants, then they play Washington, and then they play the Jets, and then they got the Dolphins. The next 4 games.
Thank you, David Carrier.
The next 4 games should be pretty interesting. A lot easier for them, I would think. Is losing Julio Jones that big of a deal for them? I mean, they don't have any offense, barely. And Julio's not doing that well over at Tennessee either, but. Let's see. Sean McVay says Darrell Henderson, rib cartilage injuries, hopeful for Sunday. That was on another note. But if I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, I'm really worried about this team. Really worried. I don't see – they don't have many weapons. They don't have any weapons at all, and they're 0-2. Now, if they go to New York, they play the Giants coming up this weekend, and they lose that game, they start off 0-3. Man, there's going to be some boos coming out of Atlanta.
All right, let's look at some of the other games. 33-30 Titans over the Seahawks in, Seattle, so in Seahawks territory, which I had the Titans for that game. Chiefs at Ravens, we've already discussed that 1-point game. Now, the Vikings and the Cardinals, does this kind of show what the Cardinals are made of?
No, the Cardinals should have lost. It was a 40-yard field goal. And
that's what I'm saying. It's kind of what they made of or what they're not made of.
Yeah, the Cardinals are another it's the Kyler Murray show, right? Like, what are you going to get? It's either 4 touchdowns or 4 picks with him. I don't think they found their true identity either. The Week 1, it was Murray to Hopkins, right? They killed it. Hopkins, I think, had 2 touchdowns with 150 yards receiving Week 1, and then Week 2 slowed down. Rondale Moore led with 114 yards and a touchdown. Murray scrambles a ton. Times when he doesn't need to.
He does.
He doesn't stay in the pocket at all.
I feel like it's kind of a go-to for him. It's just like, I don't know. I just think it is. A bounce-back win was in the Bills, 35-0 over the Dolphins, obliterated them, and then the Patriots, 25-6 over the Jets.
They obliterated them, but Josh Allen, he had 2 touchdowns, but only 180 yards passing. I need more from you. You're my quarterback on my fantasy. What are you doing? Throw the football.
I agree. Because everyone expects him and the entire team to be super explosive. This is a step in the right direction, though. It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, but the Dolphins lost Tua. 35-0. Way to go, Bills. But you beat a Tua-less Bills team. When Jacoby Brissett came in, did you see that? He didn't even – I don't think he has played a snap for the Dolphins. Like, he just looked lost. He didn't even know what he was doing, where he was at.
I don't think he played in any preseason games.
It was so confusing to watch him. He was like, he didn't know anything. It was interesting. But the Dolphins are going to – let's see, I forgot who they have next week, but it's a pretty easy game for them.
It's kind of hard to tell. It's only week 2, like heading into week 3 right now. Any teams that you see right now –
Oh, the Raiders.
The Raiders. I was going to say besides the Raiders.
Raiders are playing the Dolphins next week. So.
Let me finish.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. A team that looks to have a good season besides the Raiders, like already after completing yesterday's games and Thursday, if you want to count it.
What? You want me to name a team?
Yeah.
Name
besides
a team
the Raiders.
Oh, that looks good?
That already looks like they're off to a great season.
Obviously the Buccaneers, but a team. The 49ers,
it's too early to tell. It's okay.
You know what? The Rams.
The Rams, okay.
Yeah, with Matt Stafford, they look really good.
They do.
And I knew that game versus the Colts this past weekend was going to be tough, and it was. It was a rough game for them. Colts, Wentz got hurt a little bit, but the Colts are a tough team. They got a tough defense, and Matt Stafford came out with a win, 278, 2 touchdowns. That team's going to be tough. I like the Rams a lot. And I would have said the Bengals, but, man, they looked terrible against the Bears.
I know, and they had the whole highlight on Fox on Joe Burrow prior to the game, prior to kickoff and everything. It gave you some excitement for the Bengals, and then, boom, they came out of the gate not looking too hot.
Freddie asked, do you think the Dolphins showing might heat up the trade for Watson, but we talked about that a little bit ago.
That's been the talk since he went out of yesterday's game. It's like, oh, Watson to Dolphins, Watson to Miami. And it's just like, I don't see that happening until something comes to sight about this legal situation.
Yeah, and I think that people need to calm down over that until we hear something about the legal, because otherwise I don't think that the commissioner, Roger Goodell, is going to put him on the exemption list until he hears something too that's coming out of the court system. Granted, these are civil cases. You know, these are just civil cases, but there's enough of them where
22.
It's a lot. That is a lot. Another surprising team, the Denver Broncos. They beat the Giants and then the Jaguars, which is not too big. Then they got the Jets. You might see a 3-0 Denver Broncos team next week, but then they have the Ravens, Steelers, Raiders, Browns.
So an easy start to the season.
Yeah, very easy start.
And then it gets going.
Yes, ma'am.
It gets going. All right, so Jeff, your bets this weekend, how much you lose or win?
I did not win.
I know you didn't put any money down on the Raiders, or did you?
I did not put any money down on the Raiders.
Who did you pick that lost?
I'm not going to say.
You picked the Texans, didn't you?
No, I did not. In fact, I would have taken
Cowboys.
the Texans. I would have taken the Texans plus the points.
The Cowboys.
No, the Bengals. The Bengals game I lost. It was Bengals +1. I thought they Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow looked great week 1. I thought they'd come out and surprise the Bears and win that game. It was a close game. It was only by 3 points, but I lost the Bengals game, and that one hurt a little bit. And I was going to try to even it out by the game last night, and I'm glad I didn't, because it was Chiefs -3.5. But I thought that would have been an easy game for the Chiefs. It was not. They ended up losing. The NFL and gambling this year has been awkward. Has been real awkward. But I do know a lot of people took the Texans plus those points yesterday, and good for them if they did, because the Texans covered the spread, and for a lot of people that's all that matters.
Yeah. Now let's get into some other football. Talking about Saturdays, some college football, NCAA. Presented by Construction Concepts.
Oh, Construction Concepts, Mark and Josh over there. From hospitality to corporate, luxury, retail, and medical facility, their team of experts can update or create a space that exceeds your expectations. Give them a call, 713-589-2682. That's buildithouston.com. And, Mark and Josh over there are awesome. They do so much for the city of Houston and construction and building and stuff like that. And thank you for supporting the show.
Can we get into DJ Graham of Oklahoma's one-handed catch? Oh, my goodness. I am not a Sooner. I have never supported Oklahoma. My family goes there. It's always been head-to-head.
I was about to say, are you about to get
Texas,
in trouble?
Oklahoma. Yeah, pretty much. My family's listening. You know, I love y'all, but Oklahoma. You don't like Texas, I don't like Oklahoma. That's just how it goes. Oh, my gosh, that one-handed catch. That has got to be some praise given to that. People were upset because they're like, oh, you know, if he wouldn't have caught it, it would have been better positioning for, like, punting and whatever. But I'm like, who cares? Appreciate the greatness. What did you see?
It was great. It was OBJ-like, right? That's what they were comparing it to. That for me, that was the highlight of the weekend, really. The only game that was really, I thought, super interesting over the weekend was Alabama and Florida. I thought that game, I'm glad I didn't bet that because I thought Alabama was going to run over Florida, and they did not. The first quarter, it was 21-3. I was like, whoa, this is over. And, Florida.
Florida stepped back on up.
Yeah, their defense played very, very well. I don't know. Let me see the standings on if Florida moved. They were 11th before they lost.
Well, so as far as the Alabama-Florida game, 31-29, Bama, it's their 8th win over Florida, and that goes back to 2009. And it happened with the Gators missed an extra point and that forcing Florida to go for 2 on its final score. But Bryce Young, this kid is for real. He is the real deal. Like you said, I don't know how Alabama always produces these guys or gets these guys. He was 22 of 35 for 233 yards, 35 touchdown passes on the first 3 drives of the game. And then he had 80 rushing yards. That was included in the 233, and then a touchdown on the ground. I mean, wow. This guy all around.
They're really, really
looking really great.
Really good. I'm trying to pull up the standings right here. It's only giving me.
I have the standings, but before we get to that, I wanted to stick right here with Alabama and look at the rest of their schedule. So let's see. They played the Florida Gators, but they have Southern Miss, they have Ole Miss, A&M, Mississippi State.
Where's that A&M game? That's
at Aggies. That's at Kyle Field.
Wow, that game will be packed, and you wonder if Johnny Manziel is going to be there for that. I bet he will be. I bet he built that stadium basically for A&M, and that's his most famous game. He beat Alabama, in an incredible football game. So I bet that Johnny's there, and I would love it because I love Johnny Manziel. There's a lot of Manziel haters. I think Johnny Manziel in college at least was phenomenal. He was exciting. He was fun to watch. I have him in my top 10 of most fun to watch players in college football.
Absolutely. I know a lot of people feel the same way you do. And then they play, talking about Alabama, they play LSU, which normally I'd be like, oh, that'd be a big game. LSU is, terrible this year.
Kevin's about to get
New Mexico State, Arkansas Razorbacks, and then they finish at Auburn Tigers. And I'm just looking at the schedule, and I'm like, okay, who is Alabama going to lose to here?
They're not. I think that A&M game will be interesting, but, yeah,
A&M's not – They barely skid by with a win last week. I mean,
you can count Alabama in the national championship game almost perfect. Look at Steve 35-24, 32-13, 35-17, 31-17.
LSU is gonna beat there. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Kevin.
Did Kevin say that?
Yes.
Oh, let's do another bet, Kevin. Want to shave your head on that one?
All right, Kevin. All right. No, but as far as the rankings go, Clemson and Ohio fall to the bottom of the AP rankings. So first off, we got Alabama. We just talked about them. Then we got Georgia because they beat South Carolina. Number 3 is Oregon. 4 is Oklahoma. It moved down to the close victory over Nebraska this weekend. 5 is Iowa, for the second straight week. 6 is Penn State because they beat Auburn. 7 is A&M. 8 is Cincinnati, and then 9 Clemson, 10 Ohio State.
Yeah, the only teams that are outside of the top 10 that are undefeated are Notre Dame and Ole Miss, really. BYU still and Arkansas still, but they're way down there. Michigan is actually 19th undefeated. Michigan State at 20. Michigan and Michigan State this year should be a phenomenal game. And if Michigan keeps moving up, that Michigan-Ohio State game will be a lot of fun. What I don't see in here are my Memphis Tigers, and that's frustrating.
Of course.
3-0, baby.
I'll say I was watching the BYU-Arizona State game. What was that? Thursday night, Friday night. It was really fun. It was fun. It was a fun game to watch. They took it 27-17 over Arizona and moved to number 15. I was watching
the ID channel, and there was something about BYU on there. And I think you ever
the
watch
what?
The ID channel, the murder mysteries on the ID channel?
Oh, I was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. But okay.
Yeah. But, yeah, back to the football. BYU at 15, yes. Fresno State, good for them, 3-1 at 22. That's the only surprise. Well, Kansas State sneaking in this week at 25. Good for them. Good for the Big 12 to get a team up in there.
Heck yeah. Big 12, I'm all about it now. Okay, so Nathan Small, he said Tigers will be 5-0 before they get any love. I'm sorry, but you do not look good this year.
The Memphis Tigers look great. He's not talking about LSU. He's talking about Memphis.
I'm thinking of LSU. Sorry.
He's talking about
I'm
Memphis
like,
State.
they don't look that great. I'm sorry.
But, yes, when they do go 5-0, they will sneak up in there. Hopefully they get a big bowl game. They keep going back to the Liberty Bowl, which is in Memphis. Of course they're going to get invited. But I hope Memphis gets up in there. I don't see them. Ohio State's number 10, Florida 11, Notre Dame 12. Memphis is not good enough to get in there with them, I don't believe. I think that because
Jeff,
of rivalry.
Who's your top? You put Memphis up there, huh?
No. I'm not that dumb. I'd put A&M in the top 5 right now.
Okay.
I leave Iowa there.
I'm shocked. You put A&M in the top 5?
I'd go Alabama, Georgia, Iowa, Oregon, Oklahoma, Penn State. I'm sorry, Texas A&M. So, Texas A&M would be number 6 for me. So I would just do a little rearranging because you can't argue Oklahoma right now. They played great. Alabama, obviously, consensus number 1. Georgia's defense makes them a number 2. Mm-hmm. And then 3, 4, 5, and 6, you kind of could – if any of those teams played each other, it'd be a great game.
Oregon versus Oklahoma.
Yeah, it'd be a phenomenal football game. I'd probably take Oklahoma right now.
Shootout.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the over.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Taking the over.
High-scoring game. All right.
Yep,
interesting. Okay.
I posted back to the NFL just for 2 seconds.
That's fine.
Because we only have a few more minutes here. I posted this on Facebook last week, and now, of course, I posted on Facebook. I'm not trying to brag, but I did say this a week ago. Now it's all over ESPN and everything. Lamar Jackson and Mike Vick. Who are you taking to start your team right now at their prime, Mike Vick or Lamar Jackson?
I feel like a lot of people make that. They were talking about it last year too. Personally, I'm not a Michael Vick fan.
Oh, because I know why. Everybody does.
Yeah, I hate his guts for that.
Okay, take that take that out of the scenario. Just based on football alone.
I'm still going Lamar Jackson.
I think I'd go Lamar Jackson too. I'd have to go back and look up Mike Vick's passer rating. I don't like how efficient he was, but I think I'd take Vick because I think he could throw being left-handed gave him a lot of advantage, and I think he was a more accurate passer. Lamar Jackson's stats last night were terrible. Of course, he won it with his legs, and that was what was impressive. But look, it was a W, right? It was a win for Baltimore, and they got over the hump by beating Kansas City. I don't think they'd do it again. I think going back to Super Bowls is so tough. And Kansas City won a Super Bowl, then they went back last year and lost. I don't think they get back this year. It's hard to get back to Super Bowls, right? And this will be if they go, this will be their 3rd consecutive year. It's just tough.
Brady obviously is the GOAT, and he hasn't done it since 03-04 season.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's
2020.
Hard. It's so hard
it was
to get
2021 this year whenever he did it. Going into 2020 season is what I meant. But
And now you have so much film on Kansas City. I mean, playing the exact same way. You got a ton of film on Mahomes. You got a ton of film on Kelsey. You got a ton of film on Hill. The one thing that they have
all the same guys.
Yeah, so they run the same routes, do the same
guys.
thing. So the defensive coordinators are not stupid, and so they're going to slow them down and figure out a way to beat them. I think Kansas City needs a little bit better defense and maybe a little bit better of a running game, other than Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and they could be on their way.
He did get stopped quite a bit last night, and I just think that's knowing the play calls.
Yep.
Knowing the play calls.
Tonight, who you got? You got Detroit Lions about to kick off versus the Green Bay Packers. The line is -11.5. And by the way, I told you I was right on Thursday. Remember who I took? Remember at the end? Do y'all remember?
No. What did you say?
Remember?
What were you right about?
Remember I told y'all who would win on Thursday night's game? At like the very end, I was like, oh no. Do you remember?
We were right.
Yeah.
Washington won.
No, I said.
You took Giants.
Giants plus the points. I took the 4 points. Remember?
You said Giants were gonna win, and
no,
we were like, no, we're still Washington.
Oh, I'm gonna go back and watch.
We're still Washington.
I said plus the points. I said Giants plus 4. Giants plus 4. I did.
I don't know. I just remember you saying Giants, and I'm like, I'm still going with Washington. He's still with Washington.
Well, I know I took them with the points because I said it would be a close game, but I took them with the points. But anyways, I digress, and let's go back to tonight's game. 11.5-point spread. Lions at Green Bay. Who you got, Lauren?
Okay, so we've dove into this game. We know Packers need to bounce back at their home field, which Jeff thinks they're in large part going to do. I'm going for the underdog. I say go Lions.
Oh, man.
Go Jared Goff.
Jared Goff and the Lions. You taking plus 11.5 or you straight up?
I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not.
So
But
so you're taking the 11.5.
with the yeah.
All right. What you got?
I got to go with Packers.
Packers?
Yeah.
I think I'm taking the Packer.
I think the Packers are going to be a lock, but I think Detroit will put up at least 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think they'll hang in with them the first
2
half.
scores.
I think they'll hang with them the first half, and then Aaron Rodgers and them. Because, like I said, Aaron Rodgers finally has. I think he's back with his team now. He probably got it's a full week of practice in. You know, the drama has subsided a little bit, and here we go.
Okay, we've seen a lot of overtime already. Will this game go into OT tonight?
Golly, no.
I
think this is his home. This is Lambeau Field. I think he shows everybody exactly who he is. And if he doesn't, man, then they might kick you out of Lambeau. But, you know. Let's thank a couple of people. I want to thank David Carrier from Smarter Mortgage. Thank you, my man. Thank you for all your comments, too, David. Look him up, 281-650-0648 for refinancing and purchasing. David Carrier is your man. He will take care of you.
And thank you, Joe Applewhite Realty. And definitely contact him if you're looking for a house, trying to sell your home, all of your needs. Joe Applewhite Realty. Give him a call right at 713-291-5270. Everything he touches turns to sold. And Hybrid Technologies Group. When it comes to reliability, they're the ones that you need on phones, cable services, surveillance cameras, cloud services, you name it. Roy Stanton's got your back. 832-336-1201. Give him a call. Mention Sports with VYPE.
And Construction Concepts, they build stuff. 713-589-2682. Mark and Josh over there will take care of you. I'm going to do a halftime video today, so stay tuned at the halftime of the game. I'm going to go live on Facebook, and I'm going to do a halftime. So I'm going to give you some analysis of the first half and see how we, if what we talked about came to fruition.
All right.
See if Lauren's right or Jeff's right.
Kevin Anthony says 41-20 Packers.
That's about right. That sounds about right. All right, man. Thank you, VYPE. Thank you, Chris's Tailgate. And we will see you Thursday, right before Thursday night's game, and give you some more insight on everything going on in sports. And go Astros. Go Raiders.
I'm Lauren Leal. He's Jeff Michael. We're in Houston. Good night.